Hello and welcome back for another day in the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, this time with Robert Space Industry, that being the ship manufacturer, not the website or, any real existing companies and all that. I anticipate it's gonna be a little bit of a shorter one this time, because there's really not that much to talk about. We can already see here in the front the various variants of the Aurora. From this just looks like the S, just a very basic Aurora that we had in our Aurora video a couple episodes ago. No, it's the CL actually. Okay, it also doesn't have any color scheme, at least not discernible one. Got a bit of white, I guess. Huh? Alright. That's the S then, because those look really similar in terms of, looks. Is there actually any difference between those? Because it looks just basically the same paint scheme. I don't really see any egregious differences between those two. I mean, the CL has a bigger cargo box, but since the cargo box is not attached to the ship at this point, it's just not notable. Anyway, that over there looks like an MR? Alex! I thought the MR had red. Hold on a second. Okay, the MR here has a little bit of red. Then the LN, the slightly more combat-focused version, has that yellow, very, very light tone of greenish skin. And then the LX, the luxury version, has this red thing. Okay, I see it now. Well, in function, they're not that different, At that point, when you're considering upgrading your Aurora, you could probably just consider going to a different ship. But I already talked plenty about the Aurora in a few episodes ago, so that's gonna be fine. Let's speak about those ships a little bit. First, the one here in the center is the Mantis, which is a quantum interdiction ship because it has kind of a quantum scramble device thingy that you can use to pull people out of quantum, which has griefing potential, yes. And when it was first introduced, there were a lot of people trying it out by setting themselves up in frequently visited routes and then just pulling people out of quantum. The problem kind of is that the ship itself is not very well armed. It has like 2 size 2 guns, I believe. It looks about size 2 in size. So that ship itself is probably not going to be a threat to pretty much anyone not flying, I don't know, a starter ship. What I do like about the ship, though, is that the canopy has way less shrouds than the Constellations we're about to visit in a second. And I just wish that when they do the Constellation rework that we actually get the same glass canopy, because, it looks stylistically very similar, but you have way less obstruction due to the canopy. Let's actually take a look inside and see if and see the view from there. I think we should be able to enter it from somewhere. I've never actually been on one of those. I just, blasted a few of those. Oh, where's the elevator? Oh, the elevator's coming here. Okay. Where's the elevator coming out, actually? Not sure if that's supposed to be so dark, but I guess. Let's call it up. Alright. Now if we set down here. It seems to have, oh, here? This wasn't lighting up, so I was wondering if something was wrong with it. But if we take a look at the view, you still have some shrouds, but it's nothing that really bothers you much, and it just has a really nice view, Just take that cockpit, put it on the Constellation, make it slightly bigger, and I'll be happy. I'll be totally fucking happy. So, yeah, that's about that. I don't really want any of those because I don't particularly like them, just being a part-time trader makes me loathe anyone who just...
You've exceeded the allotted time to depart. We will have to return your ship to storage. Initiating ship storage procedure. For your safety, please vacate the area. Thank you for your cooperation.
Just makes me loathe anyone who would just, you know, try and prey on traders. But as I was starting to say, the ship itself is not really that much of a threat. But if you bring some more people in, it can do some damage. And one interesting thing to note is nobody needs to be actually piloting the ship for it to use its quantum interdiction effect. You can just park it in the middle of in the middle of a trading route and then move to a completely different vessel as a gunner in a bigger ship, or into a torpedo bomber that's waiting for targets to pop up out of quantum. So I think they should fix that. There should be someone to pilot the ship, although it doesn't really make any realistic sense, because if it's just sitting there and just needs to continue to operate, there's really there shouldn't be any real reason for why there should be someone there, other than it just feels a little bit cheap to just have a thing parked there and then just doing its stuff. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm not gonna rent one because I don't want to quantum interdict people, but I expect quite a few people are gonna try today, and well, let's see if they survive. If they survive the experience. Anyway, so moving on to the Constellation. Let's try to guess which one it is just by the cockpit layout. I think this should be the Andromeda. Yes, because it has both these struts in the center still. We're already familiar with that. I've flown mine a couple of times. I made a video on it recently. I'm just gonna move on from there. Everything I said there is still holds up. It has decent firepower and all that, but it's not very maneuverable. This one, judging by the paint job, definitely is the Phoenix, no? I'm actually gonna rent one, just for the funsies. That way, if I want to transfer people around, at least they got a better looking version of the Constellation to sit down in. Interestingly enough, it got the same cockpit loadout as the Andromeda has, for God knows what reason. Who does have a slightly better cockpit though, which is why I'm actually going to go on board that ship, is the Aquila. Aquila? It's always with anglicized Latin. It always sounds weird to me, to be honest. But let's actually move on here and take a look at the cockpit. This is a slightly more exploration-focused variant of the Constellation, and at least they got right that the exploration-focused variant should have a better cockpit view, because you need to, you know, look at stuff that probably not too many people have seen it before. Having a Stroud blocking your way, not ideal. So it got this more roundish canopy, and as you can see, it looks way more open than the one in the Andromeda does. So that's nice. I would just also be totally okay with just getting that in the Andromeda. But just, you know, have anything other than what the Andromeda has right now. Other than that, the interior is not that different, I think. The paint scheme here is a little bit different. The doors have this blue tinge on them. But that's pretty much anything. But that's pretty much everything. Oh, someone put that down. Oh. Let's go down again. Let's also take a look at the Phoenix, because I'm not sure if I've ever done a video on the Phoenix before. But we could just to fill this video with some content, you know, we could just go over there and take a look at it. This ship is actually slightly different than the Andromeda because it has a scanning turret down below, I think. This looks a little bit different than the usual turret. At some point it was supposed to be on top of the ship, but then they found out that, you know, people were saying that the top position of the ship was the only position where a turret even made some semblance of sense, so they just put the scanning thingy down there, which is okay, because when you want to scan a planet, you're probably orbiting it, and it's probably below you. So, all kind of worked out, I think. Alright, but we wanted to go to the, to this thing. No, I already got one of those. God damn it. Well, someone else apparently already hit the button. The front section of the ship doesn't look different from what we've seen in the other variants, which is a little bit of a sloppy thing to do. Also because this ship is for, you know, touring, which is, you know, transporting passengers who are somewhat well off. And the first thing when entering the ship through the airlock here is, you know, just the crew quarters, which, you know, hopefully are cleaned up and all that, but still not the very best first impression. Starting here, the impression gets a little bit better, where you have this pretty neat bedrooms and all that, even have some different materials on the floor and all that. So the interior definitely looks nice, you know. It has some, again, being a CIG ship and similar to what I discussed with the 600 series, it has some really baffling design choices at times. Like, do you really need the master bedroom to just be totally open and exposed with just this glass panel? Oh god, thank you, what the... you get back up there? Or not? Or I just... no, I didn't fall through there. God, there's just too many people here. Does the master bedroom need to be so open? I mean, you can close the door here at least, but can you also, you know, kind of give that window a little bit of a different tinge? Because if not, then you're just looking at what's your conference room and the bar while you're trying to sleep, you know, which is less luxurious than the other bedrooms. Other than that, it has a nice interior, you know. It's just a conference table, a bar. It has an atmosphere of, you know, let's make some deals while we go from one point of the universe to the other. So that's definitely nice. But then the bedroom here, weird, and also the jacuzzi here, also particularly weird choice. Especially, you know, those panels here. They don't open up the jacuzzi or a mini bar or something. They open up components, ship components, you know? Last thing you want to do when discussing the final strokes of your business deal in your jacuzzi is for the ship engineer to go in and, sorry, I need to take a look at these panels now. Hold on, sirs, just continue. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Okay, I'm done. Keep on. That's just fucking crazy, if you ask me. So, I don't know why these panels needed to be there. I mean, there's some panels here. I think they could have used the space a little bit more effectively and put more panels down here. Or back here in the aft section, where the snub is in. So, but next to the jacuzzi, come on guys, that doesn't really make any sense. It has so many beautiful things about this ship, you know, the panoramic view, and the bar is actually pretty nice, and, well, there's also some things that are a little bit asymmetric and weird, but it's just strange. Also, this floor pattern here, that seems to be interrupted and just goes on to one floor. First time I saw this, I thought it was actually just someone forgot to cut out something, but apparently this is deliberate, just deliberate styling and, you know, transition from one floor type to the next, but that floor type doesn't look like very high quality. Same as that thing here doesn't look particularly high quality either. So it's a little bit messed up. If they end up redoing the ship, there's a few things that they could improve, you know. Just move the elevator further back, maybe. You know, just don't just do a lazy paste job and use the space that you can't copy from the other ships to make the function of the ship. Just, you know, change the entire ship, man, within the geometries that you have to work with, because this just feels weird, because it doesn't really scream luxurious transport when you just, what the hell, when you just go in here. So, I don't know. CIG making weird luxurious transporter choices is nothing particularly new, is what I wanted to say. Guess you were wondering after that 600 series video that I did recently. So, that's it. A little bit of a disappointing day today, because, well, Robert Space Industries, despite having the same name as the website, don't really have that many ships that we can talk about yet. They do have some interesting military ships that people would love to see and talk about, but They couldn't bring them to the Expo, so they're not here, so we can't talk about them. Yay. Yeah. It's kind of weird. I mean, I get it. You have your entry series and then one of your most iconic ships. If I didn't have that one, I would be happy, you know, finally I can give it a try again, and probably a few years back I was very happy to just give it a try. But right now, you know, where's the other fun thing, you know? Is there any other fun thing? Do we have some interesting posters at least? No, that's just a regular Constellation poster. Does that do anything? It's just... What is that? That's a phoenix, apparently. Okay. I mean, I see it now that I know that it's supposed to be the phoenix. It's at a weird angle that I normally don't see the ship from, but all right. And what do we have here? That's the Mantis. No, right? That's not the Mantis. I think that's one of the. I think that's a variant of the snub of the. That the Constellation series has, the more luxurious one. I forgot what the name was. Archimedes? Maybe? Is it that? Because it's not all the ships that we're seeing here, but apparently it's an RSI ship. Well, there's the Phoenix conference table we already talked about. Actually, we have a slideshow here. Yeah, as I said, looks nice in pictures. If you look too close, there's some weird things, and the first impression of the ship is hella weird, to say the least. What else we got? Seems to be the same slideshows. Just don't want to overlook stuff. If you're not interested, you're probably already gone anyway. No, it appears to be the same slideshow, same poster. Alright, that's it for day 2. Day 3 is gonna be equally, well, I wouldn't say bad, but equally uninteresting, to say the least, because we have Argo, Mist, and Crusader, which, you know, the Freelancer is an interesting ship, but I already have one of those now, so I guess I can check out a Reliant again, or a Starfarer. It'll be interesting to see if they actually put Starfarers into a hull like this, because, well, the ship would just barely fit into this hull, and that's just one of the 2 variants that I probably want to showcase. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they resolve that issue, but we'll see that tomorrow, I guess. Have a good one.